Hi everyone, so as you can see I have a new backdrop and I hope you guys don't mind like the fabric creasing over everywhere, but I'm just trying to get a new kind of backing done so that my videos start to sort of alter in image a little bit. But yeah, I haven't ironed the fabric clearly and I don't have sufficient lighting to, you know, make it look a little more studio finish, but I'm trying to make do with what I have. I don't have a lot going on. I just have like a single mini barely there ring light and also just lights from my room and the windows. But yeah, this side seems a little more underexposed and this side seems a little overexposed, but whatever, I'm just trying to figure it out and try to get help as I can. And if you guys have any tips and tricks, do leave in the comments below, because you can see I'm pretty lost. But today I'll be doing a review on the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Foundation. So it looks like that. It still has its seal, and yeah, I'm just gonna do a full day wear test on this. I'm in the shade Light and we'll just see how it goes, because this is one of those foundations that I would assume works better on dry skin, but I hope it works well for me. And if you want to see how this foundation works, then just keep on watching. So for starters, as usual, you can see how my skin condition is. It is, I guess, looking a little scar filled as well, but I am on my acne regime and sometimes I go off it just because my skin gets really red. In some tutorials you guys can see it's really severe. That's because I apply a lot of product and I try to kind of expedite the process, which isn't very healthy, but still this is off the redness phase, and the remaining scarring, the predominantly brown ones, are becoming red so that they are coming to the surface and being exfoliated. So yeah, in any case, I am still an oily girl but with a dehydrated sort of skin condition at the moment because of the products. And yep, so I get dehydrated around my nose, T-zone, around my lips, and those are just the common areas. So people with dry skin, perhaps you guys can relate, but yeah, that's what we're working with and we're trying to sort of neutralize in this aspect. So I'll just put a few of the foundation claims here while I prime this half of my face. I'm just going to use the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer, this one here. So yeah, I've just primed this half and this is how the product looks like as you twist. Wrong side. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I've been spending like about 15 minutes trying to figure out how I get the dropper applicator out, but I think I got a faulty one, so this is quite a fail. Okay, so what you're supposed to do is that as you open it, you're supposed to like twist it right and the dropper is supposed to pop up like a button and you can press it like a sort of pipette kind of applicator. But yeah, as you can see, the button did not pop out for me, so I think that's a gadget faulty issue, and that's bloody annoying just because, you know, you pay quite a bit for it and my suction doesn't work. So this is completely useless to me, so that's really annoying. So that's a con and we haven't even begun, but basically I'm just gonna pour the foundation, shake it up real good and apply it to this half of my face. On this half I'm going to be using the Artis brush. So I poured it out on the back of my hand. I'm just going to apply it in like sweeping motions. I'm going to apply it to the brush first and then to my face. So as you can see, with one light layer it did neutralize a lot, but as I look up close I can still see this blemish peeking through and this one. The rest kind of seems a little more neutralized, but they are still visible to me, so I think it's a light finish at this point. Another thing to note is that it's extremely tacky, so it's super luminous and kind of dewy, and people with dry skin will really enjoy this. However, I find that I have certain textural issues because of my dehydrated skin. So on this side, I feel like it accentuated it. It doesn't really look that natural, if that makes sense, or it doesn't really look very flawless. So yeah, I'm just going to try to build up coverage on this side. So on this side, I'm just going to use a normal kabuki brush just because I prefer brushes for liquid foundation instead of sponges, just because those tend to eat up a lot of product. These are my two favorite brushes, so I kind of want to test which has a better application method. So this side is the non-prime side and we're just going to apply it. So I find that with the kabuki brush, even though it does soak up a little bit more product, it applies it a lot quicker than the artiste brush, even though that was really dense. But I find that with the kabuki brush you're able to sweep more and it just looks a lot more, it's just a lot quicker to apply actually. So yeah, the finish on this side, one thing to note is that when I did use a brush in this kind of sweeping motion, it leaves streak marks. Streak marks meaning the brush fibers leave an imprint on your skin, and yeah, I can see every stroke of the foundation. So I think the right way of applying it is in dabbing motions like this, or stippling motions. So I'm just going to build coverage on areas where my acne scarring is still showing. So yeah, this shade is slightly darker than my actual skin tone. This is about an NC30 I feel. But yeah, I don't mind because it matches my arms really well. Just need to take it down my neck, but I don't really like doing that. In any case, yeah, this is the finish. I'll bring you in closer to see both sides. So yeah, that's how it looks, and as you can see it's really sheeny on my skin. It's like really dewy looking, almost like I applied some sort of moisturizer before. It makes my skin look really healthy and almost like, you know, I had a good quenching of moisturizer. For those days where you want a really plump looking skin, I think this is one to go for. But as I mentioned, the streak lines are kind of difficult to blend away because as you blend it will just leave more streak lines, but I'm thinking that maybe with a sponge, going over with like a sponge will help to smooth out those lines. And yeah, maybe using a dry sponge or wet sponge will actually help that situation, but I'm not sure if you guys can see the streak lines. There are kind of the brush strokes and that makes my skin kind of look unnatural and also a little bit aged. Formulation wise, it is a, at best I think it is a medium, a high medium coverage, but overall I think that if you apply it with a dry sponge meaning that, you know, it's not wet or, you know, squeezed out with water, it's totally dry, it doesn't absorb much and it just, you know, places more coverage where you need it. So yeah, it's really quite, you know, interesting. I wouldn't say it's something that I'm blown away at this point, but maybe it will be better throughout the day. But yeah, so I'm just gonna apply the rest of my makeup and I'll get back to you. So I think at this point my skin is looking really sheeny. I just wanted to show you how it looks before and after I set it with powder, because as an oily skin girl I definitely need to set this with powder. But for other skin type people you might not want to because you need that hydration. But yeah, so this is the sheen level on my skin now and I'm just using a translucent powder. And this is how it looks after a light dusting of powder. And yep, the sheen is still kind of there, it's still peeking through, but it's just a lot more managed, which is what I do to, you know, still maintain the formulation of the foundation yet, you know, make it customized to my skin type. So yeah, I'm just gonna do the rest of my makeup. So as you can see, this is how the foundation is. I used a lot of the Becca and Jaclyn Hill collaboration. I used everything from the creams, pressed version, to Prosecco Pop, to the face palette, to the blushes, to the eye palette. So if you want to see that brand focus, collection focus review, it will be in the description box. Both these videos will be up at the same time. So yeah, I mean, I lightly set it with powder as you saw, and it still remained that really soft lit kind of luminosity, but with everything on, I think it makes me look pretty flawless. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same way, but as I look up close, I feel like it does not make my textural issues really bad, but it does not smooth over them like it would a full coverage kind of satin finished or velvet finished kind of foundation. This has a bit of a glow to it, and even with that light setting of powder, it is still tacky, as you can see. So yeah, this is my morning check-in, and I'll get back to you when I get back. So it's about 6 p.m. and I've had this foundation on. Oop, I have a hair on my nose. Yep, so I've had this foundation on for quite a substantial amount of time, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. I mean, pretty good. But for some people, this might be too oily for you, but I personally think that it makes me look kind of vibrant, I guess, even though I wish that maybe this area did not look that oily. But I'm okay with like sort of my central area being oily, because I just like that symmetry kind of glistening glow, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think overall it still looks the same way it did before. The only thing is that my oils are starting to make this look a lot more oily, and I feel that my textural issues don't look as prominent anymore as my oil seeps through. But I think that's just down to the fact that, you know, generally when your oil seeps through your makeup or all the powdered products, it tends to look a lot more, I wouldn't say natural, but it just starts to blend into your skin complexion more. So yeah, I mean, what else would I say about this? I'm so bloody annoyed how did I forget that I can't get the button up. I mean, like, this is a total gadget era, and they should have saw it coming. I mean, there's going to be about a handful of people that have this problem and just can't do a shit about it, but just have to make do. But I think that if I had to give this foundation a grading upon first impressions, it would be about a 7 to 8 out of 10, more likely a 7. Not just because of this, but also the fact that it's not as full coverage as I thought it would be, and also I thought it would be buildable with a brush, but it wasn't. But with a dry sponge, as I mentioned, you can build up coverage, but you don't want to use two tools at one go. Another thing is that with, even if my, you know, button did work, this dropper system is really messy, and at the neck of the opening of the foundation, it will get really gross and dried up as time progresses. But yeah, other than that, it's just mostly packaging. But I think people with dry skin, you might want to try this, or at least get a sample pot before you plunge into it. But I'm thinking that it's also not the most hydrating foundation. For some reason, it doesn't glide over my skin and melt into it, or like make me feel like I have had a dousing of hydration in my skin. So that's kind of problematic. But overall, I still think for oily skin girls, it's not as luminous as you think it would be, so it's worth giving it a shot. So that's all I really have to say. And if you want other videos like this, do give this a thumbs up, and also request what you want below, and I'll do my best to do that. And if you do like it, do recommend my channel to other people, and also tell them to subscribe as well. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!